Hallmarkies podcast, and we are so excited to be here for a special interview. I am Rachel, and Amber's here.
Hi, everybody. I'm in my car.
This is dedication. But we couldn't miss talking to one of our favorite Hall stars. Casey Manderson is here. We're so excited.
This is really fun. I'm really flattered that you wanted to, talk to me, little old me. I'm so happy to do this. So hello, I'm Casey Manderson. You may know me from some Hallmark movies. You might be like, who's this guy? So I live in Vancouver, BC in Canada. And I started acting when I was, 20, let's go with 26.
So a late bloomer.
Late bloomer, because you're not always confident you're not always ready to start the thing that you want to do. It kind of lived in the back of my mind for a long time. And I certainly like attention. I certainly I like performing, obviously. I think I'm funny, and
for sure. Okay, we'll get into that later, but for sure funny.
I navigated the world through my 20s and did some self-exploration, as a lot of us do. And so the moment I would say that I decided, hey, I'm going to try this acting thing, was I did this thing called Outward Bound in Canada. They have a similar thing in the States. I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially wilderness excursions where you leadership training through wilderness excursions. So I did this thing. It was like a month long, hiking over mountains and kayaking and all this stuff. And there's one period of the trip where you're in the alpine of the mountains and you're by yourself for, I think, a day and a half. They leave you alone with a little pup tent and a bag of nuts. And they're like, have fun by yourselves for this period of time.
They're die.
It was very interesting. At this point, it's like a couple weeks in, so you're kind of in a good headspace. But everyone's spread out, and so you feel alone, and it's a nice feeling. You're on top of a mountain essentially, and there's really nothing to do but think. And so it sounds cliche, but I swear I'm not making this up. Is that eventually I ran out of stuff to think about, because I was by myself for a while. And the one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about was acting. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I just talked about it for the rest of that hike with the group leaders and everyone. And it just kind of cemented this idea that, okay, when you get back, self-exploration time is, it never ends, but okay, time to get serious and pursue this thing. So, I don't come from a theater background or a traditional acting school background or anything like that. I just kind of dove into the independent short film, student film side of things and accumulated some experience as quickly as I could, because I understood that obviously I'm fighting the clock a little bit. I need to get going. So I established a little bit of experience and a resume and all of that. And I feel like I'm still doing that, but obviously I've been doing it for a while now.
So we know that your ticket is near-death experiences that inspires you. That's really neat.
And you were like, I'm alone and no one's paying attention to me. I should probably become an actor so I never have to experience this again.
Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being alone with your own mind. No.
Did you watch a lot of romantic or Christmas movies, this kind of Hallmark movies growing up?
I would say yes and no. I don't. I loved the movies that come to mind with that question right away are Home Alone immediately. One of the best Christmas movies of all time. One of the, best movie. I try to watch it every year. It's great. The Princess Bride comes to mind right away, because to me, that's a romantic comedy. And for me, the comedy is the best part of those movies. I love reliving those scenes, rewatching those scenes. But yeah, I suppose I did. I don't know if they were of the Hallmark variety. Were those around when we were younger, as much as they are now?
You're from Canada, so no, not at all for you.
I can't remember that they were. But yeah,
they didn't exist in Canada. In the United States, they did, but
okay.
Canada, no way.
Definitely, I've always just been a fan of sort of I don't know if goofball is the right word, but Steve Martin in The Jerk.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite childhood movies, a young age. I've watched a lot of Red Dwarf. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, Red Dwarf. Again, it's just so funny. The writing is so good that it just. I mean, not that it's effortless. Those guys are so talented, but
yeah,
the writing's so good that I can watch it even today. I still watch those shows. Those are my go-to. When I just need something on, because the jokes, like, they're so good that you can relive them over and over. So comedy's my favorite. I love comedy.
Yeah.
Well, Home Alone is like a foundation movie for me. Like it's the first movie that ever really made me laugh. I saw it when I was 9 years old with my grandparents, and I just thought it was the funniest thing in the whole world because I was really independent, kind of like you, and just the idea of sort of Kevin fighting off these thugs all by himself was very like empowering, I think, too.
So tight, right? All of those scenes in the house, combing his hair and being funny, setting the traps and being funny. Even the chaos of the beginning of it, when their family's all getting ready to go, the next day, like everything, it feels so authentic that like it feels like that's what a family get together is like. These are people that don't usually see each other. They just did such an amazing job. I mean, here we are, how many years later, talking about Home Alone and how amazing it is. Catherine O'Hara, hello.
Catherine O'Hara, hello.
So, talk about funny Canadian people. Like, she's been doing it forever. And, I mean, she gets her due. She gets credit.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who Catherine O'Hara is, but definitely not enough people know who Catherine O'Hara is. I mean,
You've seen, like, the Christopher Guest movies?
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
Like,
Guffman and...
Yes. Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman. What else we got? Now I'm going to embarrass myself by not knowing titles.
A Mighty Wind.
Horrible memory, by the way. So if I ever don't know the answer to things, just because my memory long-term is horrible. I can memorize lines, like, very quickly, but anything that happened, like, even a week ago, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, this might maybe help you then. I was thinking normally we start at the beginning of an actor's career and ask them about their films. I was thinking actually with you, it might be fun to do the reverse and talk about the most recent ones first. Because we were big fans of particularly in Mistletoe Inn.
Garth for life.
Gark.
And our friend Emma at the Hallmark would be very upset with us if we didn't mention that she said that Garth made Countdown to Christmas 2017 for her. It was her favorite thing of all of the movies.
You're going to make me cry. That's such a nice thing to say. I'm also very sensitive. I like to laugh, but I might cry. That's such a nice thing. I loved that movie. I'm actually working with that director again currently this month. He's a great guy. We got along so well. I mean, he's a Brit, so I don't know if maybe we have similar sense of humor because of the shows that I like. I don't know. Or maybe, you just meet people and you get along. But that was so fun because, Hallmark movies, for the most part, don't have, I might be speaking out of turn. I might be incorrect, but Garth felt like a rare opportunity to play someone who's a jerk at the beginning, a jerk through the middle, and is still a jerk even at the end. Yeah. When he thinks he can redeem himself and get her back, like, he's still kind of being a jerk about it. So, I mean, it was so fun because I was allowed to be sarcastic and condescending, and these qualities that if you can try to bring some humor to it, they're quite funny qualities in a person who's actually kind of a loser. He's not as cool as he thinks he is. He's not as smart as he thinks he is, but he's got this arrogance that somehow he finds in himself for some reason that he can talk down to someone like Alicia Witt, which was hilarious.
Real, like, Emma, this is why Emma from the Hallmark and I are like soulmates, because we were like, Garth, right? And then like my Twitter, she was like, absolutely. Like, honestly, 2017 for Hallmark was like the year of Casey Manderson. Like, in our mind, we were like, he was in every movie because but you weren't in every movie, but you were just like such a big presence in the ones you were in that it like you were the best.
Thank you. You know, I've been in Hallmark movies now for a few years, so I just am starting to get the hang of, you know, the way that they're shot, the amount of time that we have to get a scene, and you know, everyone's coverage and you know, locations and time and light and everything. So I'm getting better at bringing options to the table, so that if they like this, maybe they'll like this, maybe they'll like this, and also the sense of humor that Hallmark enjoys. You know, there is, you can't be too mean. You know, you can't be too dark. You can't go too deep into that, right? Because these movies are meant to make people feel good. So,
well, and Alicia Way is such a funny actress. Like, that's sort of her calling card amongst the queens. We call them the queens of Hallmark.
Yes.
Like your Lacey Chabert and your Candace Cameron. Alicia Witt is the one that's the funniest, I think.
Oh, nice.
In my opinion.
I'm sure she
I kind of feel like that's universally acknowledged that she's the funniest.
Yeah.
Whenever they're like, when someone like pitches a funny idea, they're like, but this would obviously be like an Alicia Witt movie because she can pull it off.
Her falling down in Mistletoe Inn, she is, I mean, I was like, oh, like that seemed like it hurt. Like, she's very good at falling down. She's very physical. And, I mean, so talented. I don't know how much you guys know about Alicia, but such a talented singer, songwriter, performer as well. So I think she has a music video coming out, and I was lucky when she was in town to see her sing live at a little club, and she's great. She's so intelligent. It was pretty much the highlight of my 2017 to be in scenes with Alicia Witt, who I've obviously been watching since she was a child, you know. And
in Dune?
Dune. I mean, Mr. Holland's Opus. The Sopranos. Obviously, the different side from the Hallmark movies, but just like, she's had such an amazing career, and starting as a child and being able to transition into being a young adult and an adult. So, talk about inspiration. I mean, she's someone, I was working with someone that I'm like, hey, I watched you as a kid, and I'm not getting weirded out by that. So that's like, I'm not getting freaked out by the fact that I'm watching someone who I had admired as a child, you know.
Yeah.
You know, how often do you admire other children when you're a child?
So did you have a crush on Alicia Witt when you were a kid?
I don't know if it was a crush. Probably yes. Probably. I mean, she's so cute, especially playing that. What did she play in Mr. Holland's Opus? The clarinet, I think.
I think so.
I remember her face holding the clarinet and her eyes, and she just has that face, Alicia Witt face, you know. Yeah,
that's a pretty good detail for someone with no memory. You remember the instruments she played.
You're digging deep into my brain, and I'm admitting that yes, I was in love with Alicia Witt, and I love her now. I'm not in love with her, but I do love her now.
And David Alpay, was that fun for them?
Yes. David is like, he's another super talented guy. Plays the violin. I had no idea. Didn't really talk about it at all when we were on set or anything like that, but he's a talented musician as well. Really smart guy as well. Very sweet, always looking for making everything feel as real as possible, you know, like took his time. I really admired the attention to detail that he had in the scenes, some of the long speeches he had to give that character, keeping our attention, you know, keeping the attention of the background actors, the crew. He was, you could tell that was important to him, and he wasn't just saying the words, you know, and trying to get it done. He was very committed to the story that he was trying to tell with that guy. So
this is all the more proof that we need the Hallmark musical now that we know there are.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
But are you musical? Because you are very important to this movie.
I can't. You know what? I think I'm a good mimic. So I think that lends itself to singing, and I'm like a karaoke guy. Like, I can sing. I know what notes sound like. Like, I'm not tone deaf. You know what I mean? And So sure. A musical. I love musicals. I loved musicals a lot more when I was younger growing up. So yeah, being in a musical would be a treat. I used to do a bit of dance, a bit of ballet, tango. Not so much anymore. But yeah, I'll do it. You guys write it, we'll do it.
None of the La La Land people can really sing, and they made it work. So we could make
How
it.
dare you? How dare you about Ryan Gosling? First of all, that kid was in the Mickey Mouse Club. Those are talented little youngsters.
Right? This is what I heard. I heard that this was the criticism of him. It was like, hey, you used to be able to sing and dance. What happened in La La Land?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this is what I've heard. Okay.
No, I enjoyed the film. I just, I wish they picked better singers. Sorry. But anyway, so let's talk about Love Struck Cafe. I mean, how did it feel to be the number 7 Chicago top rising legal star?
Get that out of your mouth. Say that a million times. Yeah, no. It was weird playing like he was a nice guy, right? But for some reason he's just not the right guy.
He's kind of a little full of himself though.
A little different than Garth though, right?
Different than Garth.
Not a total jerk.
He wasn't scheming.
Yeah, no, he just thought he had a high opinion of himself, as those kind of characters often do in these movies. But yeah, in the end I was like, hey, what's wrong with me? Why'd you go with that guy?
I mean, but I just loved how he's like, I actually had someone recognize me today. Like, yeah, Chicago legal hot spots thing. That I don't know. I just think that's really funny. I'm like,
so this was the first movie that I live tweeted for Hallmark on our podcast.
Love Star Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're pretty new. Like we just started in August. Last year, so.
But so this was like as the Hallmarkies podcast, this was the first one I live tweeted. And I promise you, if you went back, it would just be like, oh my gosh, why is she choosing the other guy? Her main guy is the best. Like, I was like, come on, Philip's so great. Like, and like when you're talking about like yourself in the magazine and you show her the thing and you just like lean back and soak it all in, I died. It was so funny.
That's what I thought too. I thought, I'm a good guy. I came up, this proposal I thought it went really well.
It did. And I was like, say yes. And she didn't, but I wanted her to.
Yeah.
I think it was a height thing. I think she was just not into a shorter dude.
How dare she?
I deal with it a lot. It's okay. It's my own personal struggle, but I'm learning to just accept that about myself. I'm 5'7" and 3/4, I think.
I always say that in Hallmark, everybody from the city is like always evil unless you happen to be like.
That's true.
Running a parade.
Right.
Or like a window designer.
Sometimes a good, not evil character, but maybe not too smart or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. People from the city equals no.
And like you didn't stand a chance because you were like the 3 bad things, like from the city into like real estate, like and like a lawyer, like a corporate kind of job, like you didn't stand a chance.
There was like a subtle thing where I didn't really like listen to her, right? That's always a sign where I didn't quite like listen to her problems enough, maybe give her enough space. That's always a sign in the beginning.
The Andrew Walker character was all that great of a listener either. So, it's just the country boys, man. They just love them in Hallmark.
But, I think I like playing the guys that don't win. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
We like to call them the wrong guy.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I like being the wrong guy or the villain as much as there are villains in these movies.
Well, you had The Perfect Bride last year, and now there's Perfect Bride 2.
Yep.
And we hear that your part is bigger in the next one. Can you tell us anything at all?
Sure. So yeah, it's much of the same cast. So it's starring Pascal Hutton and Kevin Smith, who starred in the first movie. You guys, did you see The Perfect Bride?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've gone back and watched the Casey Manderson anthology. So.
Oh, we haven't seen it. Yeah. So Directed by, as I said, Alex, the Alex Wright, the director of Mistletoe Inn. And yeah, my part is larger. I play the same character, Brendan. But this time I don't have to get married in this one. Can't tell you.
You already
much.
did that. Check.
Yeah, we already did that. So now I get to watch other people get married. I get to be a supportive friend to the people in the movie that are going through their own marriage-related struggles, and I try my best to be funny when I can, to be a bit of a goofball. But my character is a lawyer.
Oh no!
Not an evil, not evil. I don't think. We're breaking the mold a little bit here. There are good lawyers out there, so it's a fun movie. I think it breaks a couple interesting rules in the Hallmark world that I might be incorrect about, but I think I'm right. There's some actual scenes where men are in scenes together and there's no women.
What? It passes the anti-Bechdel test?
I don't think that has happened before, and I think it's really interesting,
But are you talking about a woman for more, like, not talking about a woman for less than 2 minutes?
No. We definitely talk about women.
Oh.
That's part of the theme, but I haven't been in a Hallmark movie yet where there's not a woman in the scene.
Yeah, look.
This is very exciting because, and everybody's probably sick of us talking about it, because we have a dream of a firehouse movie starring the Hallmark men of dueling firehouses. So it sounds like they're getting closer, Amber.
It writes itself.
It writes itself. There's going to be a chili bake-off.
All of these tiny little Hallmark men running around in fireman suits, right? They'll have to CGI a smaller hall.
But it's going to be amazing because we're going to have one firehouse filled with, like, the Andrew Walkers, Paul Campbell, like the guys who like get the girl usually. Okay. And then the other firehouse is going to be the wrong guys. But plot twist, the wrong guys win.
Because we put on a musical.
It's going to be so good.
All of the Hallmark queens come and judge it. Yes.
And we've already got Jesse Hutch and Marcus Rosner on board.
Oh, Jesse Hutch. What a handsome guy that guy is.
Yeah. He's a good looker.
But it's...
Get out of here, Jesse.
But what firehouse would Jesse Hutch be in? Because, like, he does sometimes get the girl, but he's also sometimes the wrong guy.
Yeah,
he can play the dog that runs back and forth. Can't you?
He's the Dalmatian? Perfect.
Sorry, Jesse, we don't really know each other that well. I'm sorry I'm casting you as a dog.
But he would actually really kill it and be super funny.
So you have been in several of the mysteries. There was one that was Murder Most Medieval.
Yes, the garage sale mysteries. Yes.
Yeah.
It was set in like a medieval times kind of thing, right?
Okay, no, this is what it was. Garage sale mysteries. It was the main character of that episode was obsessed with medieval culture.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I was the butler of the character who would have like knights battle in his backyard, like fully garbed in knight regalia or whatever you call it, a suit of armor and whatnot. And so the plot of that episode was all around something got stolen from him, and because he was a collector of this stuff, and Lori Loughlin's character helps him find this the stuff that he likes to collect. So I got to be the butler character. That was a fun role because I decided sort of, I don't know, on day 1, day 2, day 3 that I was actually pretending to be this well-spoken butler, and whenever he would leave, I would drop character and just talk like this. It turned out being kind of a fun way to do it, instead of just always being, oh yes sir, I would, yes, whatever you need. That that sort of forgettable kind of character. I decided to how can I make this funny, mostly just to amuse myself, and like if I can make someone in the crew laugh at the end of a take or during rehearsal, then I'm like, okay, I'm onto something here. So I did that, and people seem to enjoy it. So my dad enjoyed it. Anytime my dad like texts me or he calls me, he's like, "Oh, that was so funny." Then I'm like, "All right, cool." Made my dad laugh. So yeah, that was fun.
Many of the mysteries, so I'm behind. You might say.
Rachel hates mysteries.
Okay.
I'm not that big of a
Rachel. Okay, Rachel likes to everything to be happy. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not that big a fan of the mysteries, but that sounds fun. That sounds like it wouldn't be too boring. So I find some of the mysteries to be kind of boring for me.
Is it because you feel like you know the answer to the mystery before it's over? Yeah, you're just too smart.
Yeah. And I don't know.
It's a tough problem being too smart,
Everybody has genres they like more than others.
Yeah.
So there you go. But that one sounds pretty fun. So.
Well, it was fun for me.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. I got to be a bit of a weirdo, which is my preference. How can I make this strange? And then the Haley Dean mystery as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I hope they bring me back for. I hope. Let's hashtag, what's his name? Trey Simpson, I think my character's name was. Hashtag
That's
Trey.
correct.
Come on, guys. Come on. So that I've always just wanted to play that like CSI kind of character where they bring the evidence and I'm like, this is this, and I'll explain everything because I know everything. Like I've always wanted to play that kind of role where you just get to say a bunch of stuff, scientific jargon, and then but you're not really like emotionally invested in the outcome. Like, I don't care if you guys find the killer, but here's the knife that in the DNA sample and all that stuff. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they write me into some more of those little movies because they're super fun.
We'll hashtag it. We'll be like, hashtag Trey Simpson at Bill Abbott. Boom.
I had to be on vacation like last time. I'm sorry, Hallmark. Sometimes it happens. I have to go away with my girlfriend at least once a year.
You ruined it. We were going to have you in this movie, and then you were like, oh, I have to have a life.
Yeah.
Have to have functioning relationships.
It's a compromise. I can only disappoint my girlfriend so many times in a row throughout the year saying, no, we can't go here or there. So eventually I have to say, yes, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
So that happened.
So, like, review When Calls the Heart.
I see.
Yeah, our Good Witch, we're gonna do that as well. So
you're well versed in the world of Pascal.
Yeah, so we are.
We sure are.
That's how we knew about the, Perfect Bride 2. We were like, oh, and so Brendan's bigger this time. Interesting.
I have them to thank. I think they were not so subtly letting me know that I have them to thank for.
Oh.
I love hanging out with those guys. Kevin and Pascal are they know each other so well, so they're so relaxed with each other.
And did you get to sample any of Kevin's legendary cooking that we hear so much about?
Cooking all the time, yeah. Like, I'm like, okay, man, bring something to set. But, it's hard when his call time's like 5 a.m, I guess. But he's, he seems to be, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say anything, Kevin. But, yeah, his cooking skills seem to be working for him.
Yeah.
I have no proof of his skills.
Right now, everyone could just be tricking you into thinking that he's a really good chef.
Oh, he could be ordering in. I don't know. There's some pretty, who knows? Like, he just leaves the room, comes back with a fully cooked meal. I don't know.
Like, what if he's not a good chef, but he's like actually a magician, with magic?
Well, yeah. Well, I guess that would be pretty impressive, to be honest. It's like, we'll forgive the fact that you can't cook because you're literally a magician.
Making food appear.
Like, you're a wizard, so we're cool.
You get a pass because you're a wizard, and you spell your name Cavan, which I don't think I've ever met a Cavan before.
Yeah, me either. Got to be the lead in Season's Greetings for Up.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh man, I didn't know if we were going to talk about Season's Greetings because it's technically not a Hallmark movie.
Season's Greetings is one of, if not my favorite, off-network made-for-TV Christmas movies.
Man, thank you. Are we high-fiving? Was that a high five?
Oh. Oh, like this? Boom. I don't know.
I go sideways. I don't know. Whatever. I just look like I'm smacking myself in the head. Season's Greetings was so fun. I mean, we've talked about this already, but I usually play the wrong guy. clown or whatever, that, you know, person that doesn't quite make it to the end. But I got to play the guy who's in it from the beginning to the end, and what an experience. I mean, Laura Bell Bundy, holy moly, what a
Holy moly, LBB.
ooh, LBB, you call her that too, man. Yeah, LBB. Like, she is so multi-talented and focused and driven and confident and kind and gracious, you know. Like, it's no secret that she has a world of experience over me in terms of playing lead roles, and I mean acting in general, if you just look at our careers. But it was never a problem. It was I felt we had enough time. There's never enough time to rehearse and really dig deep into these scripts, but we tried our best with the time. We shot it in Kelowna, where it's basically a small little mountain community in BC, outside of Vancouver, obviously not too far, but it was nice to get out of the city so that we were staying in the same area, and we spent some time before the rest of the cast flew up to just go over things and make sure we were on the same page. And the first couple of days of shooting, it was just the two of us doing a bunch of scenes. The very first scene we shot was the Valentine's Day accidental kiss when I give her the chocolate. The very first scene we shot for the whole movie. So it's kind of like, here you go, like, have fun. You better like each other, because we need to believe that you like each other. So, I mean, it was such a great challenge for me to step up. The director, Al Harmon, I worked with him before over the years, usually in a comedic way. I'm usually playing comedic roles with him. And this was the first time where he saw me as this kind of guy. I actually auditioned for Matty Finocchio's role in that movie, was the Charlie role in Seasons Greetings, the sort of best friend kind of. Yeah. I auditioned for that role, and he, for whatever reason, saw me as the lead. And Matty's hilarious, so I'm glad Matty got the Charlie role, right? It was. And again, Viv was in that movie. Laura, my friend Kaylin Miles, so hilarious. So my whole experience in making Seasons Greetings, I feel like I could talk about forever, because I made legit friends making that movie. People that I'd known, but now I know so much better. And I feel like I don't know, accomplished what I had needed to accomplish in that role, right?
Nailed it.
I couldn't just be the goofball all the time, right? I had to be like more sincere and access that part of the story, right? Because that's what the story that me and LBB were telling.
Someone who should be in Hallmark musical.
Oh man,
yeah.
Yeah, she could write, direct, star.
Just tell her to. If you have her be like, LBB, make a Hallmark musical.
As if she needs more to do. She's always like, oh, what choir do you want to sing with today? I'll be, oh, you're in Nashville? Like, oh, okay. Enjoy your life of just amazing accomplishments.
About your sketch show on YouTube. Come on, LBB.
Exactly. Oh, you can also do characters and voices. Like, get out of here. Away from me right now, okay?
Forget the fact you were in Jumanji.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough.
That's
funny. But yeah, right, Rachel, you haven't seen Seasons Greetings, right?
I haven't.
I cannot recommend it enough. I really, really cannot. It's so good.
I definitely will, for sure. That sounds
also
fun.
A little bit Pride and Prejudice-y.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Like a little bit. There's a little, like, because it's not. It's a off Hallmark movie, as you said. Yeah. It's a little. They told the story in a slightly different way. Like,
cool.
I feel like Seasons Greetings is Pride and Prejudice, except for, like, you are actually Elizabeth.
This is the first time I've ever heard this comparison, and I like it a lot.
Well, like her name's Darcy. Like, her name is literally Darcy.
True. Why didn't we ever? Maybe people just didn't think I would know what Pride and Prejudice was, so they didn't say this to me. They're like, let's just Let's just let him think that this is his own thing.
I don't know. It just was a little bit like it felt Pride and Prejudice to me, but like you had mishmashed both of the characters together, and I loved it. It's so good and so funny.
And I'm glad you found it funny too, because I always try to I like the funny. I like making the funny.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing.
Well,
which is probably why I like all of your movies because I am always like, come on, there would be something funny that would happen.
Right.
And then Rachel's like, no, they just need to probably have somebody die and it will be really sad.
Yeah. Somebody's mother needs to die. Like, come on.
I like comedies. I do. I just I don't know. We have different sense of humor.
Rachel's like, bring on the gravitas.
What's your sense of humor? Like, what's your go-to kind of comedies that you watch? Let's play.
I actually do like the Christopher Guest movies a lot. I think they're very funny. I love Monty Python and the Holy Grail is my favorite movie, a comedy movie. But I'm a big animation person. And so I don't know, like I like Rick and Morty, I like The Simpsons, I like Futurama, stuff like that. December Bride, you were with Daniel Lissing, and you've been with all of these When Calls the Heart actors. So when are they going to get you on When Calls the Heart? I mean,
again, hashtag. I don't know. I've auditioned for that show a few times. Maybe it's just my way isn't quite the When Calls the Heart way. I don't know. An actor is one of patience and disappointments, and sometimes you get to do the thing that you really like to do, the acting. Yeah. I don't have any answers for you. I don't know. Maybe you're right though. Maybe if I accumulate enough experience with the cast, that they'll just kind of, grandfather me in or whatever.
It's gotta be in an Aaron Krakow movie, and then you have like.
I think Aaron is the only one I haven't met or worked with, actually.
See that she's the linchpin.
I think so. She seems to be happening over there. So Aaron, there we go.
Yeah. But also, Rachel, real quick, wouldn't he make an excellent brother for Hickam?
Oh yes.
Do you even know who Hickam is? But Hickam from When Calls the Heart. I just think it would be a fun dynamic.
Yeah, there you go. But I did think that your character, I always like it in Hallmark movies when there is a character who's like calling out the nonsense. And I did like in A December Bride, you were calling her out on her nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's so easy to call out because they're living a lie. I mean, that was the best. That was the fun. That was another really fun role, similar to Garth, right? Where I just got to be this guy who kind of swoops in and just says a bunch of like witty, kind of sarcastic stuff, and they just have to deal with it. And it was like, it was fun playing with those guys.
Yeah,
watching them, making them a little uncomfortable with their lies was pretty fun.
So Once Upon a Holiday.
Oh wow! Right?
What? Yeah, he's so funny. So this is when I first was like, who is this guy? IMDb. It's Casey Manderson. He's so funny. Nice. And it's so good. You really do pull off the thing like, well, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just super ambitious so well in that movie. And
kind of dumb.
Yeah.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, so funny. And when all the times where you're like, did you see my reel? Did you see my thing? Did you see my new promo? Like, so funny.
Fun to work with Paul Campbell.
Yeah, Paul's good because Paul's just like Paul. Like,
yeah,
he's a straight shooting kind of guy. Like, he actually, I think, it works with wood. Like, like he's like working with his hands in real life, and he's a straight shooting kind of guy. I really liked him because there wasn't a different person before the camera started rolling, and during and then after. It was just Paul. Like, he's so easy to work with.
We interviewed him.
Trying to annoy him was really fun because you could see that he was actually getting annoyed. It was real. His annoyance was real. So that was pretty fun for me because you want to work with actors that react with you, that are with you doing the thing in the scene. So I mean, that was fun. I felt like I was like a little dog, like jumping at the big dog, like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, like me.
You want to watch the game with me? Let's do this fun stuff. And he's like, no.
He wants anything to do with me. Shoving a microphone in his face, and I loved how much taller he was than me. It made my character feel so like just helpless when I was around him. Like, oh, there's a real guy, and I'm just this guy pretending to be a real guy over here. So, yeah, Ross was a super fun character to play.
That movie is in my top 10. Wait, isn't it higher than that? It's like top 5 of Hallmark Christmas movies.
Awesome. I that's not surprising to me. I thought, as a whole, I thought the production value of that movie was so good. Because obviously they make a lot of Christmas movies, but that one they just took the extra time with the set deck and the locations, and I mean the cinematography, everything. Just it felt like a Christmas movie, right? Like it felt. Yeah. I love the camera movement in that movie, and the music, everything. It felt like a real Christmas movie. Where there's an energy to it, almost like I'm not comparing it to Home Alone because that's all respect to Home Alone. That feeling of like there's this hustle bustle kind of feeling to Christmas that is kind of fun about the Christmas movies. That sort of feeling of like there's movement and things happening, and yeah. So I think they did a really good job with that movie too. I like it a lot.
We like to end our interviews with what we call the Teen Beat questions. And these are just sort of fun, silly questions.
Nice throwback. Nice. So does that mean this is over? I'm so sad.
First question is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cookies and ice cream together. So my favorite flavor of ice cream could be chocolate chip mint, could be toffee and caramel. But as long as there's cookies in it, like I'll take the ice cream and put it on a cookie and then put another cookie on top. That's my favorite way to eat ice cream.
It's delicious.
I could eat so many different flavors of ice cream.
Yeah.
Pistachio, chocolate, avocado. I just like cooking ice cream together.
I'm the same as you. I feel like ice cream and pizza are the thing. Like I like the fancy stuff, but yeah, it's hard to do ice cream and pizza wrong for me.
Oh, the sensation of cold ice cream and a nice crunchy cookie in my mouth. Happiness.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. What is your favorite date night food?
I like Thai food.
Ooh, yum. Tom Kha Gai and stuff like that.
Yes.
Thai.
Yes, I like Asian cuisine for sure.
Sounds yummy. So what is your favorite date night activity?
Oh, I mean, come on, let's go watch a movie. Let's watch a movie. Let's eat some dinner. Let's watch a movie, eat some dinner, and go home. I love it.
What kind of movie is the best to watch on a date, in your opinion?
Action.
An action movie.
Big, exciting action movies, I think, are generally crowd-pleasing.
Yeah.
If it's a first date, sure, but if it's just going on a date with your partner, I think it's going to be a fun time for everyone. That it's not going to be, you're not going to be looking over your shoulder beside you wondering if the other person's having a good time or not.
Yeah.
So I got to go with action.
Good choice.
My girlfriend loves action, so that's usually.
So dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Okay. I saw some disappointment in your eyes.
What's that? No. Nobody picks cats though. Poor cats.
I have a dog, so I have a dog and a cat, but I'm a dog person.
Okay. Beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Nice. You fit well in Utah. What music are you really into right now?
Led Zeppelin. Over and over and over and over again. At the moment, just a ton of Led Zeppelin and a little bit of Kanye and a little bit of The Roots. Nice. But mostly Led Zeppelin at the moment.
Nice classics. That's great. So what's your favorite holiday? Christmas, Halloween?
Christmas is my favorite time.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is Filipino.
Okay.
They have a big, huge family. They get together. They eat tons of food. They sing karaoke.
Oh.
It's a really colorful, wonderful time. The way that they do Christmas, I love it. So Christmas, but only because I'm so lucky to sort of be in this wonderful family that does it so well, so uniquely. I love it.
Great. So, and favorite color? I forgot that one earlier.
Purple.
Purple, that's my favorite color.
Oh, nice. It's such
Yeah.
a great color. I mean, I don't wear it or anything. Obviously, I'm wearing black. I wear black every day, but purple as a color, yeah.
Cool. Last question, and it can be hard for Canadians, but what is your favorite Hallmark movie?
Favorite Hallmark movie?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with one of my own because
That's fine.
I think it's a split between Once Upon a Holiday and Mistletoe Inn for me.
Mm. Those are good ones. Can't beat them.
Really based on my selfish, personal experience of being in those movies.
Yeah. Cool. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us, and we had a great time.
I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys do so many more interviews and have me back anytime.
Okay, we definitely will take you up on that. Yeah. And how can people find you as far as social media or the kind of thing?
So on Instagram, I am Manderbutt, @Manderbutt with 2 T's.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm not on Twitter. I do Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it.
Great. We'll have links for that in the description of the podcast, so check that out. You can follow Amber at Amber Brainwaves on Twitter, and check that out. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube. And make sure that you're following the podcast on Hallmarkies Pod on Instagram and Twitter and everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. We are there, so check it out. And thanks again. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll have to talk to you again soon.
You too. It was great.
Bye.